All Together Now is a very special global event that will be happening all over the world in theaters and in schools. And to my knowledge, a P3 Theater Company is one of only two other theater companies in the LA area to be taking part in this event. Hi, I'm Deborah Robin, one of the many performers who will be performing in P3 Theater Company's fundraiser All Together Now. If you'd like to learn more about this special global event, tune in and listen to this conversation. I think the theater experience is so important for both the audience and the actors because I believe that it's one needs the other. We are creating something together, and if you've ever been in a live show, whether it's music or theater, as an audience member, you can feel, or even in a movie theater, it's a very different experience to watch a movie alone in your home than it is to watch the premiere of a movie with a crowd of excited people. There's just something energetically different about it that's very energizing, and it can be very moving because you're all experiencing something together, whether it's joyful or sad or whatever the theme of the movie or the live theater is. But in live theater, you're watching this literally unfold before you, and that's often the very key piece of the puzzle that actors need when they're rehearsing. They're not just performing for each other or for themselves, they're creating something beautiful together to share. It is a shared collaboration with the audience, and every night of the performance is different, and it really depends not just on the actors but on the audience and what they are bringing energetically to the table. So I think it's just so exciting. Every single show is exciting. If you're an audience member who's a fan of a show and you come and see the same live show many times in a row, you'll see that it can be a very different performance, not just from the very first to the very end of of a long run, but every night is different. Little things change, sometimes subtly, sometimes overtly, and it's so exciting. There's just nothing that can reproduce that feeling of simply watching a movie from home, watching it with other people who are invested in what they're watching, and the love. Usually most performers perform not for the millions of dollars, because they don't make millions on live theater. They do it for the love and the passion of it, and so I feel that it's like an offering. If it's a performer who's very invested in what they're doing, it's an offering of love that they're presenting and sharing with an audience member, and that's something that cannot be duplicated with the screen. I think theater and music are good for the soul. Music particularly, which is why I love the medium of musical theater, because it combines performing, acting with music, with singing. You've probably heard that I'm paraphrasing. You've probably heard something along the lines of on stage, when the emotions that are being conveyed become too big to be expressed just through speaking, that's when we sing. Because in real life, most of us don't burst into song. But on stage, when you're experiencing the most glorious, beautiful sunrise you've ever seen, and your heart is full and bursting, you sing, "Oh, what a beautiful morning." And it makes sense if it's being performed from a truthful place of honesty. And even further, if you're a dancer, they say that when even singing, when even music cannot convey the depth of your feeling, that's when the body moves and expresses in dance. There's so many different mediums and levels. I think it's good for the soul because it's a universal language, especially music and dance. And so I feel like even if you went to see a musical and you didn't speak the language, I feel like you would still come away with a very good understanding, particularly in a musical, or of course like in a ballet, but of what is happening, because the music tells the story. It tells the story for you. And I feel like even if someone isn't a very experienced singer or actor in a musical theater, they still have the tools to tell a beautiful story, because if it's well written, the music will speak to the heart. I feel like more than anything else, without words. I first heard about P3 Theater Company. Well, I heard about it because I'd seen them mentioned on social media. On Facebook, I had some friends who'd been in a production with P3, and so I knew that it existed, but I hadn't seen a production myself. I believe that the first mention I remember seeing of them was Steel Magnolias. And I feel like I saw, when they did Evita, I saw some announcements on Facebook about that as well. So I knew of them. And then I first became involved with them because I saw an audition notice for a show they were doing about the life and music of Doris Day. I saw that notice on Backstage, and I reached out to a friend of mine who had seen a production of Steel Magnolias, and I asked her, what did she think? Was it high caliber? What was her impression? And she said absolutely yes. It was a wonderful company. The actors were wonderful. It was very professional. It was a beautiful production. She encouraged me to audition, definitely. So I took the drive. The reason I checked first was because it was a very long drive for me to go to the audition or to any possible rehearsals afterwards, and it was well worth it. And that's when I first met them, was auditions for the Doris Day show. I loved working with the P3 Theater Company on Day After Day, which was about the life and music of Doris Day. And I portrayed Doris, and another friend of mine, Zach, portrayed many different characters in Doris's life, as well as narrating a great deal of her life. And then I worked with P3 again on a show about Cole Porter's wife, Linda, called Love, Linda, a one-woman musical. And I loved both of those. It was thoroughly enjoyable. I feel like P3 combines all the best aspects of a theater company. They are extremely professional. And by professional, I mean they're always courteous, they're prompt, they're reliable, they're dependable. It's really, truly a dream to work with. Everything is absolutely above board, and I feel very comfortable and very safe working with them, safe emotionally to express myself. And they are also like a family. They're very warm, they're very accepting, and they're very loving, kind, very, very kind people. And I certainly appreciate that. I've every single person that I've been involved with has been both professional and really lovely to work with, just delightful. And they love what they do, and that shows in their work. I first heard about P3 Theater Company's production of All Together Now because I was in the right place at the right time. We happened to be in rehearsals for Love, Linda. We were in Tech Week, and John Peterson saw a notice from MTI, that's Musical Theater International, and they license most of the professional productions that people see, including anything by Disney. MTI, Musical Theater International, it gives the rights to these works of theater or musical theater. And John had just read a notice about what they were going to do, and if this is new to you all, Musical Theater International is doing over the span of 4 days, they are doing over 5,500 performances in over 2,500 schools and theaters in 40 countries and 50 states to raise money for local theater. So they're basically licensing a huge slate of songs to be performed for free to help raise money for these local theaters who've been hit so hard in the past pandemic that we're still emerging from. So this is really wonderful and unprecedented, and it's very exciting to be a part of this huge global event. And I happened to overhear John reading a list of some of the songs that were being offered from Musical Theater International to be performed. And he mentioned something from a song from a show that I really, really love, and I perked up and said, oh, I love that song. And so John later asked if I'd like to be a part of it and sing that very song, so I'm very fortunate. As far as what the audience will hear and see when they come to our performance of All Together Now to raise money for P3 Theater Company through MTI, Musical Theater International's generous offering, you will hear a variety of classical Broadway. Yes, you will hear songs from Rent, you will hear songs from Beauty and the Beast, from Ragtime, from Les Mis, you'll hear Sondheim from Into the Woods, you'll hear some more modern Broadway songs, as well as classical, and it will be done more cabaret style. It's informal, but done by exceptional professional performers, and all of them have worked with the P3 Theater Company before. I believe a majority of them were in Evita, but I believe there are a few who've been in some other productions with P3 as well. So astonishing, gorgeous, wonderful voices that I've heard in our rehearsals, and bringing a lot of life and love to very favorite classical Broadway as well as modern Broadway. So you'll get a really cool eclectic mix with gorgeous voices, and done to raise money for this wonderful event. I hope that the audience will come away with joy from this special event. It is being done with so much excitement and happiness to be performing together and with an audience after these long months and going on years of being in this pandemic. And so it's really like rays of sunshine coming out after a storm, to have these people coming out and giving the very best and donating the very best of their time and their talents and their energy and voices for this cause. And so I think the audience will come away with hearing some of their absolute favorites from Broadway, classical and modern Broadway. So I think they'll hear many that they will recognize and be excited to hear. And I think they'll come away with smiles on their faces. It's really going to be a very happy, celebratory event. I'm really looking forward to actually collaborating with a group of people, other performers. This will be the first time since the pandemic started that I will be able to perform on stage with other performers as well. Even though I recently was in a production of Love, Linda post-pandemic, it was a one-woman show, and I had 3 exceptional musicians on stage with me, and that was very exciting. And it was really fun to do a one-woman show, but I have to tell you, I love even more than that. I love the experience of working with other performers. It brings me so much happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment to be working towards something bigger than myself with other people who are just as excited and invested as I am. So I'm really looking forward to working with other people and harmonizing with those wonderful voices and creating something together. And I just love being a part of that energy of performing and sharing with an equally excited audience. I think people should come and enjoy themselves in a wonderful, happy, expressive celebration of a night with the P3 Theater Company, because of course it's raising money for a wonderful cause. It's keeping live theater alive, and something that we all need. It's important, from our youngest, tiniest members of society to our very oldest. Music and musical theater truly speak to the heart, and they enrich our lives, and they make life really worth living and so exciting. So I think the audience needs to come to the P3 Theater Company's production of All Together Now to keep live theater alive and also to enjoy themselves. If you are a Broadway fan of classical and recent Broadway, whatever your favorite genre is, you will probably hear it at the P3 Theater Company's production of All Together Now. We want you to have a wonderful time. This is worth celebrating. We're coming back to live performing. We're so excited, and we really hope to see you there. P3 Theater Company is so unique because they consistently bring exceptional productions to an audience. They have consistent an intensely high caliber of performers and musicians that they bring to the table. But P3 also gives back to the community. John Peterson is very much a philanthropist and very much invested in giving back, not just to the musical theater world, but he also has donated to veterans and a lot of other charities that he contributes a substantial amount of proceeds from P3 Theater Company shows to. So John has an enormous heart for musical theater, but also for humanity. He gives back in every single possible way that he can, which I think is exceptional. So he believes in keeping the arts alive, but also in helping others. And he's a very generous and kind and big-spirited person, in addition to being absolutely talented with a gorgeous voice himself. So it's really such a wonderful company to work for, and a lovely man at the head of it. If there are any actors, performers, theater actors, playwrights, musicians out there who have heard of P3 Theater Company and you're considering collaborating with them in the future, I highly encourage you to, yes, reach out to P3, reach out to John Peterson. He's absolutely wonderful to work with. They're very professional, they're very kind, and they're very giving and very creative, and absolutely wonderful to work for. So I wouldn't hesitate to suggest them to you. Companies like P3 Theater Company are so important because they're keeping the arts alive. It hasn't been easy to find ways to do that over the pandemic, and they have. P3 has managed, whether it was through virtual performances or through reaching out to people for future performances once we're going back to live, just keeping theater going. It's so important. It's so important for our communities to have live theater, to see people see themselves on stage, to feel like somebody understands and connects with them. And so it's more than being entertained. It's seeing something that's being performed or sung on stage that really enriches their lives, that gives meaning, that gives insight, that provokes thought, even if it's just an evening of pure entertainment and enjoyment. But it's something that really, truly enriches the lives of everybody, young and old, who come and see the shows and experience them together with the audience and with the performers. And that's another reason why you should come to this event, because all the money, all the proceeds are going to keep this theater company alive, so they can keep bringing you exceptional productions year after year after year, and they continue to get better and better, and that's saying a lot, starting from such a high caliber of show that they've been starting with. They have an exciting lineup planned for their upcoming season, and I hope that you won't miss it. So please come to see the production of All Together Now with P3 Theater Company. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm Deborah Robin, one of the many performers who will be sharing the stage to bring P3 Theater Company's production of All Together Now to you. Please come see us. We're so excited and looking forward to bringing a wonderful, spectacular, and enjoyable show for you. We hope it will bring you just as much joy, if not more, than it has brought us. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come and enjoy the P3 Theater Company with us. See you soon.